I think it's important for a lot of people to know that, concepts and ideas on paper, that's a good strategy, but like seeing what works and what doesn't work, and then focusing on what does work as opposed to wasting your time on what doesn't work. That's super important. I know, like Patrick Bet David, that's actually a guy that I interviewed, and he
Mhm.
said that only 20% of his ideas work. So once he realizes that the 80% does not work, he kind of kicks it to the curb and focuses just on the 20%. So,
Yep.
and what works for you is constantly evolving, constantly developing, and then eventually you got to deal with Dunkin Donuts. Like, talk a little bit about your connection there and the process, because I don't know many people that could actually say that. That's a huge accomplishment. And if you
Yeah.
want to make the connection for me, that'd be great too. No, I'm just kidding. But for real.
Right, right.
But talk about that, like that journey of getting Dunkin Donuts. That's huge.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And just one thing real quick, just to kind of to piggyback on what you were saying, I think as an entrepreneur, a business owner, one of the and this is an obvious point, but one of the most important things that you can do is mitigate frustration, because there will be countless times, thousands and thousands of times that you just run into a wall, in the game of business. And so mitigating frustration is so important. You could call it pivot. We've changed directions, whatever, so many times. And just like you were saying, the 80% didn't work. You take the 20% and double down as best as possible. Um, but yeah, so Dunkin' Donuts, we did a lot of. It was more so on the marketing side of things and brushing up against on the software side of things. So we did a lot of marketing automation. We came in and really turned their presence on Google around in regards to reviews. Uh, my client was basically bought into quite a few locations that pre-existing they didn't have the best management or infrastructure in place, and so they were kind of known as, just really poorly managed locations, and reviews were very, very terrible. So we used our knowledge of software and marketing automation, and so we developed a text messaging system that when customers came through, if they had a 1 to 3 review, then it would kick it to the client, and they could handle that personally to flip the customer's opinion. If they left a 4 or 5 review, then it hit them with a Google link, and they were able to. It's a pretty standard review format, but sometimes the simplest things we absolutely turned around probably I want to say 10 to 15 of his locations, and so we were that was definitely a win that we had.
So did you know this guy originally? Did you cold call him? Like, is it a connection? Like, how did that connection start?
Yeah, I think, and this is really, if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner and you're not utilizing Facebook groups, I know it's almost a little old school at this point, but that's where that's where a lot of our business comes from. I think this was he posted in a local group, and I try to, the comments that people leave, the posts are going to get flooded with comments. So I try to leave something that's not salesy, but it's memorable. Um, and so he kind of caught on to it, and we, started a conversation and through Facebook Messenger, and it just kind of developed from there.